Hello, Smile. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I am doing good. I'll like to hand it over to you so that you can take over the screen and share more insightful thoughts.
Hey everyone, I'm Smile. I work as senior frontend engineer at Razorpay, and I'm so excited to be here and sharing a very special concept or a very special experiment which we did on Razorpay recently. So I joined Razorpay in 2021, and at that time, the code base of our checkout, since it is something legacy back from 2014, it was not very developer friendly. And the vision was that one day, maybe a few months or years down the line, we will revamp the entire checkout and we'll make it a lot more advanced from technology perspective and a lot more developer friendly and a lot more aesthetic. So this thing is inspired from our how we took Razorpay one concept, like how we themed Razorpay's checkout, and which is spread across millions of merchants. So how beautifully it had scaled up to everybody. So before that, let me just take 1 minute and I'll show like how Razorpay used to look back in 2014 when we had only one payment method, one or two payment methods that were cards and net banking. We used to have a very simple checkout with one buy pay now button. Then we introduced wallets in 2015 and then UPI launched in 2016. Our page modified a little. But all these years we were just playing around with that header and the CTA, not doing much more experiments. In 2017, we did some revamp. 2019 or 2021, we launched a new payment suite that is Magic Checkout. That is the just like one click checkout is available out there in maybe Amazon or things on other platforms. So Razorpay also launched that, and I joined for this project. 2022, that was the first time we took the concept of V1.5 and we tried revamping checkout. Not at a full blown scale, but at a small things. And if I remember correctly, in 2022, we launched our first desktop version. And now in 2024, we launched the entire fully revamped version of checkout. That is, we call it Checkout V2. So, just a fun fact, you might see a lot of color elements that are there in this checkout. Be it be illustrations, be it be maybe the pills or these things. The curious or the fun thing is that this entire thing is generated, or the entire palette is generated using one color. One color which a merchant provides us as their primary color. So today in this demonstration also we will see how you can take one color and you can transform the entire checkout in a very seamless way using that. So let's get started. So before I share what was my approach or our approach, what do you think are the must five colors that every design palette should have in a project? I'll just take a 10-second break here. Maybe you can think what would be according to you the five colors. Okay. So what could be if it would be me? Maybe a primary color. Correct. What else? Let's go back. So we see a primary color, maybe that red brown color. What else? There is a white surface color, the background color, right? So a surface color, then what else? Maybe think from some secondary colors. Not a primary complement color. That can be also there. Maybe some contrasting color. But think from a generic perspective. Maybe a toast or maybe a success message, right? Generally, whenever we do an operation, we tell the user, okay, your thing is there. So maybe a success color. A lot of times people make errors. There are form validations and maybe a paste doesn't work or incorrect payload or things on those lines. We need error state. So error color and then maybe a warning color for some things. So what we will do today is that we will take these colors as their inputs and we will create a dynamic palette. So now we know there are these five on a high level colors. Let's classify them based upon the needs. So one are base colors, primary and surface, then our secondary colors, success, warning, and errors. Then what else? Now, when we type something, or maybe when we make something, right? One is the background color. There is some text, button text, or any other text, right? Which we want to write. We can call them on colors. Maybe if you want to add it on a primary color, if you want to add something on a surface color, if you want to add in something on maybe a success banner or something on those lines, on color. Then last but not the least, if you remember, I had also added a illustration, right? So what if you want to also theme the illustrations based on a theme color? So I'll come to that. What is the shadow, midtone, accent, and highlight colors in a while. Before we jump into mixing our colors and bringing our palette in, I want to emphasize and spend a little more minute on this very nice concept or a very nice color concept to add colors, that is HSL colors. A lot of people generally add, if you ask me personally, add hex colors, right? Before I did not knew the concept about HSL, or maybe people use RGB colors, RGB, the combination of red, green, and blue, and we randomize some values and then we are able to get to a palette, but we really don't know maybe what tone you have to mix in how much amount to get this beautiful color, right? So that's the beauty of HSL. I'll spend a minute on this, a minute or two on this, so that the demonstration becomes much more easy. So just a minute, I'll exit this one. So what I did, this is a regular any you search HSL color picker. So I took one color picker to explain the concept. So HSL, H stands for hue, S stands for saturation, and L stands for light. So hue is like, if I have to put it in very simple words, hue is the base color, right? It's basically a 360-degree spectrum. So it starts from red. So 0 and 360 both are red, okay? So H is like any color which you want to pick. Now comes S, as a name suggests, saturation. It's like density. So it's like how gray or bright the color you want. Say if I will make the saturation 0, no matter whatever your HSL would be, or the hue would be, the color will be always gray. And if it would be towards 100, it would be the true color basically. And lightness, simple, how light the color we want and how dark the color we want. So if I move it to extreme end, 0 would be black and 100 would be white. So this is basically a concept of HSL. During the entire demonstration, what we will do, that is we will play around with these HSL values and we will try to generate a beautiful palette around it. So let's go back. Let's see what we have in the presentation next. Okay. So yeah, let's pray to the demo gods and deep dive into the code and see how these concepts which I spoke about, right, how we can generate a palette. So let me go in the code. So I'll just give you my code walkthrough. So if I just do fold all, this is simple React app. This is made using Vite. So what I did, I'll come to this a little later. Like this is this. Okay, let me show you the demo as well. So this is the basic web page. Basically, what I did, I wrote ki open a checkout modal. Just taken some example and a theme palette. I'll show the theme palette towards the end. Okay. So what I have done, that is, okay. So let's go to the. So we want to create a theme, right? So what we'll do, that is, so what I've done, so the basic idea is this. We want to, basically what we're trying to do, that is, we are trying to create a big palette, right? So how will our app know that what is the color? So what I have done, that is the strategy which we are using, that is, we are injecting all the variables or all the colors which we wanted to introduce in as part of our theme as the root variables. So CSS have very interesting concept of root. So let me show, just increasing this as well. So this is our application. We see we have these root variables, right? So what is the idea behind us is that we will generate our own palette. See this. This is the palette I have generated. So I'll explain how we have generated all these colors and what each color means. So the idea here is that we will generate our palette and we will inject our palette into the root so that the entire application can use that set of palette. So how we can do that in React? One of the ways is that using helmet. So I have injected my style tag over here. Now let's go deep and understand what is this create theme. Okay. So what the vision is, like for you can basically you can customize any things. What I have customized in my theme that you give me I'll give you a primary color. I'll give you a surface color and I'll give you CTA color. Surface color and CTA colors can be optional. If you don't pass it, I will just create from something. Let's see in parallel as well. Let me open this. Okay. So let's take the same thing as reference. So one is the white surface color, the primary color, and maybe the CTA color. These are the three factors for now we want to customize our theme on. What I have done, I have made a build theme. It is doing their computation and just we are returning in the root, we are returning all the colors. Before we jump, what does build theme does? I'll show you infographic. Let's try to understand using that first. I hope this is visible. So what we are planning to do that is, like in our page, right? There can be a surface color, there can be solid colors, there can be illustrations, right? Let's first try to understand how we can generate, how we can adjust our hue color, right? Basically, the goal here is that we will play along with lightness or maybe the saturation. The base color will remain the same. We'll play with saturation and we will play with hue and we will generate the palette. So I have taken this primary color, right? And then what we are doing that is, since we wanted to play with hue, so we have converted the primary color to HSL. Then we are adjusting its lightness. You can generate as many as shades you want. Then we are regenerating, returning the shades. And one way I showed you using helmet, you are like we have already injected the direct variables, right? In the root variables, you can directly use them, or maybe you can use them with tailwind. I'll explain and show the both approaches. Let's see the code. So I'll go in my build theme. So what I have done that is I've taken primary color, surface color, and CTA color. So I've converted my primary color, right? And then what we are doing that is just ignore for a split second this and see this line number 204. Let me zoom in a little more for the people who are not seeing on phones. So what I have done that is I'm saying you take my primary color and generate some color. So since we are playing with the lightness values, right? So two things which we have done that is just one is this is more from a surface color perspective. So what we have done that is, so we took the color and then we have lightened the color to whatever hue it is. Let's see this. Say I have taken a blue color. So I took the basic primary color and we have lightened, so 0 like a little, we have adjusted the lightness where 10 being the lowest and 950 became the darkest. So, and this is returning me, and this is how we generate basic color, the solid color. Now let's go back. Let's go back in that create theme. Same fashion, since it's a solid color, right? You can generate be it be success color, be it be danger color, be it be warning color. It's just color matching, right? These are simple. Now the thing comes with the surface. So surface is something, what if somebody did not provide a surface? So what I have done that is I have taken one primary color, right? And from that we are generating basically same color only with slight modification. I have taken that as a surface color. Now the challenge with the surfaces can be light and surfaces can be dark, right? So what we can do that with, we want our theme to be in such a robust manner that say if my surface color is black, right? On black, I can't see black text. So we need something white, right? So that is how we will generate our palette. So what we have done that is, so we are checking if surface color is there, else we'll use that, else we are generating some random surface color. Then what we do that is we are generating its tint. Now, this is the same thing. We are just generating the tints on the basis of that color. This is then if we are checking about the surface color. Now this is simple, right? Surface color is also basically one kind of primary color. Now the thing is, I mentioned one is like we covered surface colors, basic colors, we covered secondary colors, how we can generate a tint for that. Now the thing comes is what? The on colors. Now I want, say my background is black, I want something, it should look beautiful. Or for example, this thing is brownish, right? I want the things which directly come on this should be maybe white so that you can have a good contrast. So how we can do that? Here comes something interesting. So for every color, say I have one primary color, what we are doing that is we are generating surface color for that primary color. Let's go into this. I'll show you. So we are generating, I have written one more function. See, generate on tint shades. What it takes colors. This is the palette. Basically, I wanted these many colors, 10, 100, 0, 10, 10, 25, 50. So with 1000. So we are trying to get, we have written some logic based upon EPCA. EPCA is one of the algorithms where you will, you need it is more like an accessibility algorithm. It defines some rules how you can make colors better. I'll touch upon that as well. And I'm showing you. So I'm just saying get best color or tint or shade. What we are doing that is we are checking like if this color, right? We are trying to find what is the lightest contrast for this and what is the dark contrast for it. And then we find that contrast using some predefined rules. These rules you can find on their website as well. And they have a wiki. I'll share the resource in the end, like how you can, you pass background and foreground color. And then how can you get the contrast and how you can scale up the contrast and things on those lines, right? So we generated light contrast and the dark contrast, and we are seeing if light is better, then we want to show the light color, or if the dark is better. So basically what this function do that is, it checks. This is the color, this is the background. If it is a darker background, then lighter color will be more nice on it. And if it's a light background, a darker contrast. These colors mostly returns black and white only. So for a light color, it will give us a value that you use black as a theme color, and if it's a dark one, it will return a light one. But it's not like that. For every light colors, like if I'm generating 10 colors, right? Maybe first 4 would have black background and rest 5 will have dark background. No, it's not like that. It is more the function also focus like how hard or how easy it is to a human eye to read. So this function does it magic, and that is how we create our on themes. Just a minute. So what I am doing that is I am returning my on colors. Maybe if I want on surface primary success, basically on all the things where I want my text colors, I am returning this. And then for surface and this, and also I wanted something with my CTA color. So I'm just returning my CTA. Now, how I can leverage them to make things. Let's see the demo. This is the palette. Basically, it got generated. So let me open the checkout. Now you see this. So basically, this is one illustration I have added. We'll cover its illustration logic in some time. But if you notice, let's do one thing. Let me change my color. And this adapted automatically. Let's see its code, how we can use it. Just a minute. Let me show you this one. See this. So if whenever you're making your code, what you can do that is, since we have surface color, right? Wherever you want a surface color, this color should adapt according to the surface. You can mention text on surface. Then maybe I want some opacity, then you can leverage this. So notice these are all tailwind classes. Now, in this few minutes back, I was talking, right, how you can use either using root variables or using tailwind classes. So what I have done with my setup is that, let me show you my tailwind setup. So what we did, so whatever that on colors, right, which we have generated, so we had few things like surface colors, primary colors, success colors, dangers, and warning, right? So we generated like on, then surface, and whatever shade you want. Let's visualize it. I'm going to the inspect element, right? See this. So using that one color, what we did, so on surface 0. This is, it might look, if you're seeing HSL values for the very first time, it might look like maybe this is a percentage or something, but it's an actual color. Like you go to 40 degree in the wheel, then this is the 20% is the saturation and 5% is the lightness. And that is how it generated the entire palette. Okay, and how we can now leverage them in Tailwind. So let me open my model. This is the right panel. Let's see coloring for this one. Okay. So this is now one code you wrote. What I did, so I wrote background 25 and the text is 950. So basically what I want 25% of my primary color, a slight tint, more towards white, but some tint, right? And then maybe since it was surface color, my surface color was none. I did not pass anything, so that is why I passed this. And then I want a primary color on this. And some things I just wrote maybe text. I want base text and a font medium, and this is my thing. Let me show you for CT as well. For inputs as well, you see, I want surface 0, maybe a primary border. So basically the entire palette is generated. Now wherever you want to use, you can. Now with that CTA color, by default, it is taking one of the darkest values. Basically surface, the blackish tone, right? So it is taking that. Now let's do one more thing. Here, let's pass just and maybe black. Okay, and CTA color maybe red. Let's see. And let's see on some light color so that it can be more better. And see this. We are getting nice colors. Now, if you notice one thing, here the color did not scale up. I intentionally left this piece. So why? Because I did something like this. Just to see what is the power of that. If you notice, secured by, I simply use text primary 950, like don't rely on the surface. So this was the issue. So the better color here could have been maybe text on surface 25. Okay. Now see, it automatically scaled up to this color. Now let's touch upon these illustrations. Let me quickly touch upon this as well. So what we did. See now if we just let me quickly do one thing. I am clearing this. I don't want that. See notice, like let me show you on a maybe a dark color. See this. So there are some 4 colors. It is a combination of 4 colors that also we have generated dynamically. Let me go in my theme thing. I'll go on this build theme. So what I have done that is, see, one is a shadow, Then one is accent color. Accent color is like you can hard code. What if you want some particular color, right? On some colors, you can just hard code it. Then there is a highlight color and there is a midtone color. So how we generated that? So there is these formulas came from more like a hit and trial sort of thing. We tried on a different spectrum. That if generally the perception is that if I want to make a shadow, right, I will reduce the brightness, lightness, and it will give me a shadow color. But the thing is that with shadows, it might not. When we initially we tried that approach only, but it looked a lot dull. So that is why we played around and we made a formula. To adjust the saturation as well, we balanced it out. That's how we generated a shadow color. And same for midtone. Midtone is nothing. We just adjusted its lightness and we generated a midtone color. For highlight color, highlight color is generally a primary color. So the saturation and lightness, hue and light, saturation we kept the same, but we played around with lightness. For example, maybe there was some dark thing, so we adjusted like how much highlight we want. So we made some formula out of it, and we are bouncing it back, and that's how we generated a highlight color. And accent color I already spoke about. Like as of now, in my application, I've only given the support for accent color on primary colors, or not primary colors, the dark colors, and on light colors, it is the similar primary color variation only. Let me show you. Maybe let's go somewhat towards white and see this. In the darker colors, you saw there was subtle green color. The reason why we kept green color, we wanted to increase more intent for the buying perspective. So that is what we did. This is what I had for my demonstration. Let's go back to the slides. So this is how, like, if you want somewhere border, you can, like, if you want opacity, since this thing we collaborated with Tailwind, right? And this idea was inspired from Material UI, how they are configuring their theme colors. And that is how we, clubbed them with Tailwind, so that, if you want to give border or maybe text colors or anything, we can simply use them. And the newly created palette will work as custom colors for Tailwind. The beauty for this is that since they are CSS variables, right? So it will not have any extra impact on if you dynamically change the theme. Like you saw, right? Me runtime changing the theme. So it did not have any extra computations. We are just changing the values for the root variables. So I touched upon this APCA, right? Advanced Perceptual Contrast Algorithm. Earlier we used to do with the contrast, right? With AA and AAA, like some contrast ratios. So this is a little advanced. It talks about, it talks more from a perspective that how nicely colors impact. Like I touched upon one concept earlier, right? For light colors, there can be a different band where it can be a flip. Basically, the crux is on dark colors, dark backgrounds, you need a lighter white, and on a lighter ones, you need black. Also, it touches upon some things on sizes as well. Like, for example, if there is a small size, then you can have a bold on them. But if it's a large, maybe a 14 pixel, 18 pixel, 20 pixel, then you can skip bold or maybe make it semi-bold. So there are many rules to it. You can go through it, and it's an interesting read. I'll share the good read for this towards the end. So yeah, that's all. Let's summarize what we learned. One is that what is HSL? It is one of the ways how we can adjust lighting and hue, and we can create some palette. Then by tweaking, you can easily create wide range of shades and tints, allowing for dynamic and adaptable UIs. Then for better readability, for use black for lighter surfaces, white for darker, and prefer on colors. Like in the demo itself, where I did not add it on colors in one, it was not able to accordingly scale up when I used a darker background, right? So it's better to use on colors. Then we talked about how illustrations, it's better if you are incorporating some illustrations, It makes a lot nicer if illustrations are also customizable, and you can use accent colors if you want some fun element or something like we added green in or thing. Just last but not the least, you can check this. We have made this if you want to play around with a lot of colors. I'll also share a QR code towards my demo, and if you want to see, you can just go here. It's Razorpay demo PG3. You can play around with the colors here as well. So let me see. I have for my slides. So and that's all. So this is the QR code for the slides, and if you have any questions, I'll happy to answer.